Chat. It's been about a week. I got a video cooking, so don't worry about the YouTube videos. YouTube videos are coming. Trust. But there's a certain video I seen that I started watching, and when I seen a take, I said, "Yep, I'm gonna react on stream." So this video will react to Jimmy High Roller. Now, Jimmy High Roller is a very popular NBA content creator. He's actually one of the reasons why I started making NBA YouTube. Him, B Souls, and Legend of Winning. He has
in the NBA. I don't
million
think
subscribers. He makes very good content and he gets a lot of views. Now, there's a video that I was supposed to watch regarding we're done with the 90s. Don't worry about that. There's a video coming out soon about that I'm making, so don't worry about it. But he decided to do some hot takes, and he made videos on his hot takes. So I have the video. So let's go ahead and see what Jimmy has to say.
After years of judging, critiquing, hating on some of your hot takes, today I'm gonna share some of mine. It is only fair, after all, that if I put others' opinions up for debate, contention, ridicule, that I do the same for myself. Because like you, I too am just a guy who has a few takes and opinions that I wouldn't dare say out loud in fear of having my ball knowledge put into question. But today, I'm gonna do just that. So here are my NBA hot takes. In preparation for this video, I thought about some of the opinions I've had over the years about players, teams, eras, opinions that I know are probably subjective and completely false, but I usually try to stay as objective and non-biased as I can. Do my research, refer to film, gather consensus when necessary. But in this video, I'm doing none of that, and instead sharing with y'all 5 of my NBA hot takes.
Let's see.
Right, so my first hot take is kind of hard to admit. I almost don't even want to say it out loud, but I'm going to. Tim Duncan has become overrated. Now, before you bring out the torches, hear me out. When Tim Duncan was playing, there were maybe a few seasons throughout his 19-year career where he was considered the best player in the world. No one ever thought he was better than Shaq in his prime. Many fans at the time argued that KG had a higher peak than him, although I would disagree with this. And in the moment, for a good decade or so, you would be in the minority if you thought Tim Duncan was a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant. By the time Duncan retired, he was very underrated. Most fans had him somewhere around 15th, maybe just outside the top 10 greatest players of all time. But miraculously, over the past 5 years or so, Timmy has creeped from 15th to 13th to top 10 to where he probably should be, somewhere around 7, to now all the way within people's top 5, even top 3 players ever. And this isn't just a small community of Tim Duncan advocates pushing this propaganda. I'm seeing Duncan floating anywhere from top 5 to top 3 all time for a lot of fans these days. Even people claiming he may just be the greatest basketball player of all time. Guys, Tim Duncan was incredible, the best power forward of all time. He is not one of the 5 greatest players ever, let alone the GOAT. And I think what's probably happening here is younger, or maybe newer fans of the NBA are looking at his accolades and accomplishments and comparing them side by side to other greats and saying, wow, this guy really did a lot and his resume is better than just about anyone ever. But if you watched Duncan's career unfold in real time, you would have felt the impact he had on the league and on the Spurs, but you would have also felt the massive role that the Spurs system and Popovich's coaching excellence played on Duncan. He was unbelievably consistent. He was a defensive juggernaut. He was a leader. But Duncan was also the beneficiary of the most competent organization in the league that prioritized team ball and continuity. From Hall of Fame teammates he played with for the majority of his career to all-time greats that played big roles in helping the Spurs win championships, Duncan was always surrounded by winning culture and winning teammates. This is by—
Okay, so this is the reason why this is stupid take. 1. Yo, what's up, Zion? This is the dumb take. So you can't say that the reason why Tim Duncan is not top 5 because he benefited from a team around him and also just Hall of Fame teammates. 1, everybody that is in the top 5 or top 10 categories have benefited from a team, from a system and from Hall of Fame teammates. That's one. Two, you can't bring Tim Duncan down for consistently having a good team when he didn't consistently have a good team. In his first championship run his rookie year, David Robinson had a significant fall off where he wasn't the same player. The team was not the same, but a rookie or sophomore Tim Duncan brought that team to the finals and then won the NBA championship. In 2003, that is probably one of the worst Spurs teams in the Tim Duncan saga, and he was able to bring that team to a championship and played amazing in 2003, where he single-handedly shut down Shaq, and he single-handedly was playing amazing defense. And then, if you want to say Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are Hall of Fame teammates, okay, they are. They are certified Hall of Famers. But they're Hall of Famers more of the Spurs system than because of Tim Duncan. Because when Tim Duncan decided to take a back seat from 2008 until the end of his career and had Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili run the system, run the team, you can obviously tell what happened during that decade, during that stretch of time, and why they didn't win anything. Because Tim Duncan was the person that had the Spurs organization run. So for you to say that this player consistently had significant help, bring that to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who, yes, on the Bucks had Big O, and then at the beginning of his Lakers tenure didn't have him as help. But when he got Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers, he was consistently winning championships he had no part of winning. Bring that to Kareem. If you have this same argument, you can apply it to all of your top 10, and maybe just not Hakeem. But most of your players in your top 10 have had Hall of Fame teammates, great coaching, and a great system, because you need all of those things to be able to win a championship. Now, some players have it more than others, but you're not going to knock down Tim Duncan for being part of a competent franchise. That him being part of that franchise allowed him to be able to win championships, but his talent and skill wasn't carried because of that Spurs franchise. He could have went to any other franchise and had the same impact he had on the San Antonio Spurs. Not saying he'll win on the 5 championships he won, but he will still win championships, win MVP, have Defensive Player of the Year type years, and still be an insane talent. For you to say that his career was carried off of the Spurs, it's crazy to say. It's just crazy to say. Anything over that here. Something that I failed to say in the stream, which I realize more that I'm watching it right now, is that he said that Tim Duncan had great coaching help since the beginning of his career, and that is far from a lie. The Spurs was having head coaching problems while Dave Robinson was there, and then towards when Tim Duncan was about to get there. The reason why they got the number 1 overall pick was because their team was bad, also the coaching was bad. And while David Robinson was there, they went through a plethora of coaches, and even the beginning of Tim Duncan's career. So when Tim Duncan was there, his sophomore in his first year, Greg Popovich was just becoming a coach. So Greg Popovich was also a rookie head coach, while Tim Duncan was a sophomore in the league or a rookie. So you have a rookie head coach and also a player on top of Tim Duncan. And this guy, in a winning culture, by the way, was able to lead this team with an aging star player David Robinson, not that good of support pieces, and a rookie head coach to an NBA championship, and another was 2003. And he is overrated and is carried by winning culture. Okay.
By no means a knock on him. In fact, he was a big reason why the Spurs were so cohesive. But only in retrospect would you look at his laundry list of accomplishments and neglect all of the details that came with it. For many years, the Spurs as a team and organization were seen as this staple of excellence more than Tim Duncan was as an individual. It wasn't Duncan and the Spurs. It was just the Spurs. They were one and the same, not this pretty good team with a fantastically great player on it. But if you just look at his resume, you wouldn't know that. You could argue Duncan had maybe a top 3 career in NBA history, but as a player, he's just not on the same tier as Jordan or LeBron or Kareem. I don't know.
Okay, so nobody's saying that. So when a player is top 5, Just because he's in the 4th or 5th category doesn't mean that he's in the same realm. Because I think Michael Jordan and LeBron James are just leagues and way above anybody in the top 10. So Michael Jordan and LeBron are 1 and 2. Then it's a big gap between 3, 4, and 5. And Kareem is 3, but Kareem is low-key kind of fraudulent. But we'll leave that for when I do my GOAT case and when I do my videos on him. So I have Tim Duncan 4 or 5. It's interchangeable every time I do some research and I watch games, interchangeable. But the reason why I have Tim Duncan top 5 is because of his consistent play. He was a all-time defensive player. The way that he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year is actually kind of insane to me, but whatever. He is an all-time defensive player. He had an immediate impact on the San Antonio Spurs. For you to say they had a consistently good team is actually crazy, because in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, when he won his first championship, I know David Robinson had a significant fall off because he wasn't that good after his injuries. I don't think his team was even that good in 1999. I don't think his team was even that good his sophomore year. He had Steve Kerr. It was him, Antonio Daniels, Mario Elie, Sean Elliott, Jaren Jackson, Will Perdue, Malik Rose, Braden. And you think this team was a consistently good team? The next person that averaged under Tim Duncan was Dave Robinson 15, Sean Elliott with 11. Nobody else on this team averaged over 10 points. Besides Tim Duncan, only 2 players averaged over 10 points. Everybody else had under 6. Besides Mario Elie and Avery Johnson, who had 9.7. Everybody else had 6 and under on this team. And this team is competent enough. You won 2003. I know Jimmy Hxh will know about 2003. We go 2003. They finished first. David Robinson had significant fall off. Manu Ginobili was young. Tony Parker was also young. Tony Parker had 15. Ginobili had 7. Malik Rose had 10. Stephen Jackson had 11. Tony Parker did have 15, but not that good efficiency. Like, what are we doing, Jimmy? What are we doing right now?
How after he retired, he has slowly crept past Shaq and Bird and Russell and even Magic for some people. Duncan is one of my all-time favorite players, but he is not a top 5 player in NBA history. And it's odd to see a player who was so underrated for so many years become slightly overrated today.
Bad. The first one was pretty bad because I understand if you think that Tim Duncan is not, but have a good reasoning for it. For you to say, I hate that argument. People try to say that his team was the reason why. His team is the reason why. Like, him having great competent help is the reason why. And they keep on saying because of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are Hall of Fame players. Yes, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are Hall of Fame players. They are certified Hall of Famers. But they're not. People overrate the term Hall of Famers because, yes, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are certified Hall of Famers. Nobody's saying they're not, but they're not that good to the level that you think they are to negate what Tim Duncan has.